Hi there guys, it's me and Ryan JC, Ryan James Cropper, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a new 3-step process to having out-of-body experiences. And so without wasting too much of your time, let's just go straight into it. The first thing that you need to do is you need to lay down and trigger your parasympathetic nervous system. Sounds complicated, it's not, and I'll tell you why you need to trigger this part of your nervous system in the first place in a moment. But first off, how do you do it? You do it by triangle breathing. Now, triangle breathing is a method of breathing whereby which you breathe in for 3 seconds, you hold your breath for 3 seconds, then you breathe out for 3 seconds. Then you go straight back into the inhale. You only hold your breath for one phase of the triangle, and then you go straight back to exhale and then into inhale again. Okay? So you inhale, hold, breathe out, inhale. Never do you hold your breath twice when it comes to triangle breathing. You may have heard of its brother, box breathing, where you breathe in for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. Then you hold your breath again for a count of 4. You're holding your breath twice, which completes that square. We don't need to do that here. We don't want to stress out your body, because if you're holding your breath for too long, it's going to trigger the autonomic nervous system in the body, which is the fight or flight system in your body. You'll freak out, get agitated. Even if it's not mental, the body may be under acute stress, and we don't want to do that. We want to move it away from acute stress to more of a rest, digest, and heal response, which is the exact expression of the parasympathetic nervous system. The main reason why you want to trigger the parasympathetic is because it will tell the muscles to relax and no longer trigger the urge to move. Another additional piece of information to mention when it comes to breathing cycles in general is when you focus on the tail end of your exhale, that specific part does an exceptional job at triggering your parasympathetic nervous system. So let's say in reference to the triangle breathing, you breathe in for 3, hold for 3, out for 3. Notice the tail end. Maybe breathe out for 4 instead of 3. And just put all of your attention there. And then breathe in. And you'll notice that you're much more calmer. Yeah. The idea of being stressed out is an oversimplification when it comes to why it is you're going to want to move lying down. Of course, you're coming from this stress state. Your body's under acute stress all the time. It has to be in order for you to be alert and moving around. You lie down after a long day of work or being mentally and physically active, the body's still in that autonomic state, right? But while you're there, it's not like there's something technically wrong with you overall. We all have this happen to our bodies. It's a part of our body's function while we're awake. But while you're there, it's gonna still try to trigger those involuntary movements, and this is due to a term known as muscle tone. You see, based on your muscle's tone, which is another way of saying your muscle's baseline level of activity, that will determine how often it fires off these electrical signals, allowing you to move, not only to get up and running at any given moment's notice, but also to pump blood throughout the muscles themselves, avoiding you from getting stiff. And so while you're lying there, your brain just thinks, oh, we're still in go-go mode. We haven't actually stopped and collected ourselves. Which is why when you breathe like that, it switches you over to a different system, allowing you then to move on to step 2. The second thing you want to do, once you realize you've stopped moving, is you want to make sure that either your curtains are open or your blinds are open, allowing the light to hit your face. Now your eyes are closed, you closed them in the beginning, but what you should be able to see are the rays of light moving through your eyelids. It shouldn't be black behind there. You should see some kind of ambient glow. That is perfect. That is your screen. That is what you're going to be focusing on. Now, from here on out, it's very important that you don't make this stuff up. I'll get into the reason why in a moment, but just to keep this train on its tracks, make sure that you are able to see this glow. Perhaps when you move your fingers over your face like this, you can see the outline of your hand. That's perfectly fine, like a little check, right? Now, clear your mind. Do not think. Do not think about what you want to see. Do not think about where you want to visit or who you would like to visit in the astral plane or the etheric realm, wherever which place you feel like that person may be or that place may exist. It's important that you don't try to think about what it is you would like to experience ahead of time. Why? Because the moment you start to, usually when people hold an intention, try to think about even slightly where they would like to go, their left brain kicks in and takes over the process. They'll think it's them doing it. They'll think it's them intending to reach through time and space to try and see, like using a crystal ball, this location, but it's not. It's actually them using their left brain to fill in blanks accidentally. What do I mean by that? Well, when you try to look even for a moment for something, your left brain decides to fill in what it can't see. As you're looking through this glow, this ambient glow, and you can't quite see anything, your brain will go boop and project what's known as an analytical overlay. It will project what you assume you should see. This ruins psychic phenomenon, psychic abilities across the board, whether it's psychometry, clairvoyance, and in this remote viewing, and in this case, astral projection. And so it's very important that you get used to just sitting there and looking at this ambient glow. Think of it like looking at leaves under a canopy. You don't have to create those leaves. You're completely immersed, captivated by the movement, become captivated by the glow, and don't think. As you're doing this, what will happen is the left brain will switch off, cueing the right brain to turn on, and then the third eye will start beaming images onto this screen that you are looking at. It's referred to as the screen of the pineal gland. When you project images, that space is known as the imagination space. Two different spaces. One pulls you into a lucid dream, the other takes you someplace else. And so, we're going to take you someplace else. So you do this by not thinking. You're looking at this ambient glow. Once the left brain disables, the right brain turns on, and boom, you start seeing these images. They show quickly. Don't try to hold on to them. If you're trying to hold on to them or make sense out of them, guess what you're going to be doing? You'll be turning on your left brain and boom, you'll fill in the blank. What may have seemed electric, you may have experienced some kind of third eye opening activity, will suddenly become quite familiar as it becomes more like a dream activity. So again, don't try to complete what you see, simply observe it. If it's people, don't try to think, do I know that person? Where have I seen them? The moment you think that, I'll stress this so many times in this video, it will turn off, so please don't. Right? Get to a point where you're seeing these images time and time again. You're not attached to them. They simply float out. They come in and they float out, right? The third stage, this one's important. Put on an eye mask or close the blinds. I would say put on an eye mask. This is what I do because it's right next to me. I don't have to get up and move, activate too much muscle activity. Put on an eye mask, close the eyes, and you may not see anything for a moment, but that's fine. This is step 3. What's going to happen is, as long as you're looking in that same space, your mind is blank, you'll start seeing other images cast on the screen of your pineal gland. And because it's dark, DMT will start to become produced within the pineal gland and it'll spread throughout your system, allowing you to go into a very, very deep state of being. Not just DMT though, also melatonin, have to throw that in there. It will allow you to go really deep, be very relaxed, and follow that wave of the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest, digest, and heal state. While you shift into this theta state of mind, this image will become very, very, very strong. Your awareness will anchor itself on the image. Again, as long as you don't try to throw out an AOL, analytical overlay. And then you'll find yourself immersed by the experience itself. And this is really cool. It's kind of like it doubles up as an additional meditation. While you're there, you may see a filing cabinet, in my case yesterday. You may see an office. You may see crystals. Maybe they have decoration in this office, like in the experience yesterday. You may see a person and feel like you know them from somewhere. But whatever you do not label these things or complete stories. Do not say filing cabinet, purple amethyst, right? Office. I'm pretty sure I know her from... Don't continue, because again, the left brain chimes in and it will actually collapse the experience, collapsing the field, collapsing your energy. It's leaky. Then you'll find yourself coming back. You have to start again. Yeah. So it's important to be able to see things without labeling them. Know what's happening without creating the story. You can do this. You can get around a location fairly easily and just experience it like a monk. Hands behind your back, just looking, noticing, even talking to people, having full-blown conversations over there. Then you'll be fine. Anchored to the experience. If you no longer wish to experience the space that you're in, well, simply take your attention off of it. I mentioned this within a post on my private newsfeed. I have my own one now on my website. I give little tips when it comes to how to last longer in the astral plane, as well as to additional methods to pivoting out of the body. I'd heavily suggest that those who are interested in out-of-body experiences visit ryancroppo.com and check out that newsfeed. If you're looking for free advice, free training, I also have that available on my website, ryancroppo.com. Click on the free training tab, and it will give you a series of questions which will allow it to analyze your sticking points and then give you the necessary information to overcome your sticking points when it comes to out-of-body travel. Again, I'm Ryan JC. Have fun. Good luck. I know you'll enjoy it. Take care. Peace.